Once upon a time, in the vast and magical world of Teyvat, there existed a mighty traveler, who had the ability to traverse between different realms. The traveler, hailed as a hero in many lands, was known for their noble deeds, and dedication to protecting the people. They embarked on countless quests, and unimaginable challenges, with a desire to bring prosperity to all. He had encountered the Archons along his journey, and saw them as friends. They were people who deeply cared for the people of Teyvat, and helped build their civilization, so why wouldn't he? He studied ancient texts, legends, and rituals, eager to understand the gods' will, and help serve their cause. However, as he goes further in his journey, exploring more nations, his view of the Archons slowly starts to change. He stumbled upon forgotten scriptures, and whispered tales, that spoke of the gods' past transgressions, their hidden agendas, and the suffering they had inflicted upon mortals. His journey of enlightenment began with an encounter with a group of villagers, who had fallen victim to a calamity. Desperate and abandoned by the god they once worshipped, they shared tales of unanswered prayers, and broken promises. Elena, one of the villagers, explained what happened to their once prosperous community. One fateful day, tragedy struck the village. A severe drought plagued the land, withering crops, and leaving the villagers on the brink of starvation. She intensified her prayers, pleading for their Archon to bring rain, and relieve their suffering, but nothing was happening. Days turned into weeks, and still, the skies remained cloudless. The villagers' hopes dwindled, and despair settled upon the land. Elena's faith began to waver, but she still clings onto the belief that their Archon would answer them one day. She just needs to be patient, that's all, she thought. The traveler found this incident very odd. Their bitter words planted a seed of doubt in his heart, sparking his curiosity, and prompting him to question a divine order he had accepted unquestioningly. He helped the village have some resources, but clearly not enough to solve all their problems. Only someone like an Archon could. Seeking answers, he starts searching for hidden knowledge about the divine, and talks to individuals who shared his doubts. He met scholars, sages, and ordinary people who had their faith shattered by personal tragedies, or witnessed the gods' indifference to mortal suffering. One of the people he encounters was a mysterious and enigmatic figure, who didn't reveal his true name, and was just called by his nickname, Silas. He was a former knight, who had renounced his faith in the gods, and now dedicates his life in exposing their true nature. Silas invites the traveler into a hidden area that only he knows about. He presents him with a collection of ancient artifacts and texts that he believes would reveal the gods' manipulations, their hunger for power, and their disregard for the lives of mortals. These artifacts and texts were carefully preserved, being passed down through generations of scholars and rebels, who dared to question the divine order. A few of the items he showed was a scroll of forgotten prophecies. It is an ancient scroll that contained cryptic writings, believed to be prophecies, foretelling the gods' true intentions. Most of its writing is destroyed and can no longer be read, but at the bottom of the scroll, a passage hinted at a grand plan that involved the gods using mortal worship as a means to sustain and increase their own divine power. Another one was an amulet of a lost deity. It belonged to a god that even the traveler has never heard about. The intricately crafted amulet was said to hold the essence of a forgotten deity who had fallen out of favor with the other gods. The amulet emanated a sense of sorrow and betrayal, serving as a tangible symbol of the gods' selfishness and their willingness to discard or punish those who defied them, said Silas. The other gods must have hidden the existence of that deity, basically erased them from Teyvat, to hide all their wrongdoings, thinks the traveler. There was an engraved ancient tablet that also supported this. It depicted a significant event in Teyvat history that had been carefully erased from mainstream accounts. It shows a betrayal by one of the gods, who had exploited the trust and loyalty of their fellow deities for personal gain. Everything was a lot for the traveler to take in, and left him with more questions than answers, but what's for certain now is that he no longer blindly trusts the divine. Together, the traveler and Silas form an unlikely alliance, driven by their shared desire for the truth. Silas didn't want his help at first, but after seeing how much the traveler knows about their world, and the many connections he had with people, he gets convinced. The traveler was also very powerful, which helped a little in convincing him. They sought out ancient ruins, deciphered cryptic inscriptions, and confronted powerful entities that guarded long-buried secrets. One such entity was a creature filled with sadness, who was named Arcanidas. After defeating them in battle, the traveler wondered what it was doing there. When asked if it knew anything about the Archon of their nation, did it only start speaking, telling the betrayal and abandonment he endured. A tale that was also lost from history. He was saved by an Archon once from battle, and he then vowed to serve that Archon, as a sign of respect. They were close, Arcanidas thought, always chatting together. Yet one day, the Archon commands him to guard a specific area, but not giving a reason why. Arcanidas obviously did what the Archon said, and followed their instructions adequately. The Archon then says that he should never leave that area until they come back, and then they can be together again. The god then leaves. Arcanidas didn't think much of it, thinking it would only be for a day or two, but before he knew it, millennia had passed. The creature feels betrayed by its Archon, but it still continues its promise, continuing to wait until they come back, even after the traveler tells him how much time has passed. This tragic story, together with the other revelations they found, had eroded the traveler's trust in the gods further, being replaced by a growing sense of anger. It was clear they were hiding things that showed their dark history. As news of the traveler's new quest spread, he drew the attention of the very gods he once revered. One of the Archons had asked the traveler to stop in his venture, as they have nothing to hide. He considered it for a second, but when he asked about the god and creature, supposedly erased from Tevat's history, the Archon didn't give an answer. The god said he can't explain it, due to something that prevents him, and hopefully the traveler can understand that. Some knowledge is just not meant to be known. The traveler is clearly unsatisfied and leaves, choosing to continue their journey and finding the truth. A few months have passed since the interaction. As Silas and Traveler delve deeper into their journey, they start to seek forbidden knowledge and artifacts, thinking it's the only way. They also realize that despite how powerful they are now, if they are facing the Archons, they would certainly need more strength. Silas gives the idea of delving into forbidden magic that would grant them unimaginable power, and the Traveler agrees immediately. Using this forbidden magic, they manipulate the very fabric of reality, twisting it to suit their intentions. Their actions sent shockwaves throughout Tevat, starting to make its inhabitants in a state of constant fear and uncertainty. Driven by their newfound conviction, the Traveler began amassing an army of followers, making use of their reputation and influence, to find individuals who shared their desire for the truth of Tevat, and the actual will of the Archons. Together, they formed a nation of their own, as a symbol of resistance, determined to liberate the entire Tevat from the Seven's grasp. Meanwhile, somewhere far away, a few of the Archons have gathered for a chat. One of the Archon comments that the Traveler has gotten too far down their journey towards the truth, that he started to lose themselves. He tried to warn them, but they never listened. The Archons then agreed that they now saw him as a threat to their control, fearing that he would expose their secrets and turn the hearts of mortals against them, making everything worse. The gods dispatched their loyal followers to silence the Traveler and put an end to his reign. Caught in a dangerous web of intrigue and persecution, Traveler and Silas found themselves hunted by both mortal and divine forces. Though they were not alone, as they too had a nation that supported their cause. The Traveler, now refusing to use the seven elements, solely relied on forbidden magic to win. The once cherished Traveler had become a symbol of terror for some, as his power had caused destruction to lands and homes, without him feeling any remorse. To them, the Traveler had turned into the very villain they once fought against, embodying the very oppression and despair they had sought to eradicate. After learning about the defeat of their allies, the Archons themselves are now prepared to fight. But before they can even brawl, out of nowhere, Celestia steps in. It seems they had enough of the Traveler's shenanigans. He had gotten way too close to finding the truth, and he guesses their nation was close to a breakthrough. That's why they chose to intervene now. Celestia plans to completely erase everyone's memories of the mess that happened, and as a punishment and warning, alter the Traveler in their followers' forms, and completely destroy the nation they so carelessly built. Thanks to the advanced knowledge of the man-made civilization, they managed to foresee their attack. Traveler can use all of their forbidden power to save themselves, Silas, and a few of their loyal followers. They might even retain their memories, so their progress wouldn't get totally lost. However, Silas suddenly proposes a different idea. He had changed his mind. He thinks that maybe the Archons were right, knowing the truth might only cause pain and suffering. The amount of destruction they caused is unimaginable, and the further they are in their journey, the more they lose themselves. He says that they should just stop while they still can. The traveler just looks at him with disgust and betrayal, leaving him without uttering a word. They've gotten so far, they can't stop now, the traveler thought. Before the two separate, Silas gives him a flower as a parting gift, and finally reveals his true name. He then says farewell, may they be reunited again. Traveler uses forbidden magic to summon a portal that should take them into a different realm and protect them from Celestia's attack. A few other citizens follow through the portal, but not everyone can, or even want to, Silas being one of them. He fully accepts his punishment and prepares for his impending doom. And then Celestia attacks. Supposedly everyone's memory gets wiped, and the ones who sought the truth are punished. But the traveler is still there. He quickly goes back to their world after the events, and witnesses the travesty that happened to his beloved nation. It was absolutely devastating for him to see, but in the end, this just made him more determined in achieving his goal. He then realizes that they now need a new home, somewhere even Celestia can't reach, and goes back to the portal. He'll just make the realm they entered into their new home, using his powers. Hundreds of years have passed since the event, and everything is seemingly normal now. A young woman suddenly catches a flying creature while fishing that calls itself Paimon. Now, she too sets off on her own adventure. What would she find along the way? Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe and like if you ended up enjoying this video, and let me know on what you think about it in the comments below. Bye.